Okay, it's working now. So today, I'm just going to be doing a casual Fire Emblem unit tier list, as last time I streamed, I got tilted off the earth by Fire Emblem Echoes, and I don't really know how to feel about that one, but hey, we're back to streaming. This is actually something I'm probably going to send to my friends, as I have not told them about streaming. This is going to be more about, I'm going to break down for a casual Fire Emblem player, at least from the games that I have played, what units are to use, who are the goats of certain Fire Emblem games, which units you should completely and totally avoid, but you probably can use them if you like. It's Fire Emblem. As long as you're not playing on the hardest difficulty, you could generally get away with a lot. So, yeah, let's just get started. The question is, should I start with Engage? Probably. Because I actually have used all the units in this game. I do have the DLC. No, let's just start with the main character of Engage. So, Lear. I. My ranking for characters in this game is probably going to be the most. I would say non casual leaning compared to all the other games characters I'm going to rank on this stream. Alir's kind of weird because on lower difficulties, I at least personally build Alir as a dodge tank. With high dodge rates, you put Emblem Marth on Alir, and you can get away with a lot. And you can still get kills. But on higher difficulties with Alir, that kill ability goes away a lot. Especially anything that's bulky. Alir can't kill on. Uh, is it Maddening? I believe it's called Maddening. It Engage. Alir runs into a kill ability problem on higher difficulties. However, as far as main lords go, this is still a character I would deploy, regardless of difficulty. Regardless, it's a good main lord. So, I mean, they're not the best of their game, but it's definitely a solid A tier. Like, if they weren't required to deploy, I'd still deploy them. Which in Engage is a fairly good compliment because there's a lot of viable units here. And, let's do this in recruit order to the best of my memory. Vander. Where do I start with Vander? Okay. So he's one of those units that's fairly hard to break down, as he is definitely incredibly useful for when he joins. And the first couple maps, I'd say you start feeling the fallout the fall off once you enter Brodia in Engage, regardless of what difficulty you're on. He is not. This also raises another question about this tier list. Am I considering just using them proper, using them end game? And it's probably going to vary from unit to unit. And Vander, if I'd say end game, he's definitely a meme tier unit. I mean, he's not quite the monster of a Jagan like some other people in the series. Like, once we eventually get to Sacred Stones, you already know who's going in Goat's tier. But, yeah, I mean, he's good. He can get some kills. He has good defense. He's not gonna level up for you, and his growths aren't impressive. I mean, he's. I mean, it's all right. I mean, the meme fits kind of perfectly for him. I mean, you could use him. He's kind of a meme, but he's definitely viable when you first get him, and he actually does a good job. It's not like certain other Fire Emblem games where you're just putting units there because you can. This is you could actually justify using him. But he's one of the first units I'd take off the team, but not ever really the first. We got the twins. Just need to find one of them. Ah. So, clan. Now, I weirdly used him for a long time in my first playthrough of Engage. And I thought, oh my gosh, he's so good, not realizing. Like, I was thinking that Magic in Engage was bad. No. Magic in Engage is just really good. And when you look at this unit and you see their growths, you wonder why their starting class is a mage. This is more of like a berserker stat line. It's a really pitiful like magic growth for a magic character. And I mean, like he's useful. Like he definitely survives on the team longer than most units. He's early game mage damage. But he's kind of like that GBA archer, but like a mage. I mean, I feel like that's the best comparison I can make here. Like, in an ideal world, you reclass clan, and he's a berserker, something like that. But fighting for reclasses, fighting for team slots, and engage. I mean, he's serviceable. He's not. I might change him to D tier, like Vander, but for now I'm gonna leave him in C. We're gonna do some rearranging as this stream goes on. Okay, and now let's get to one of the. Where are they? Here you are. In my opinion, an endgame unit. Fram, listen. Fram isn't really good growth-wise necessarily. There's nothing like amazing, but luckily for Fram, in Fire Emblem Engage, Fram gets like a huge buff because of Chain Guard. And even though the really sweaty, highest difficulty of this game, you're constantly using Chain Guard, even as a casual, like a casual gamer who's just playing Fire Emblem for fun and you're not really going to go higher than hard difficulty, Fram is undeniably just useful the entire game. Like, staff access, even though arts are really bad, because, I mean, arts necessarily aren't bad, it's just they come on every unit that doesn't really want to physically attack anyway. Like, there's definitely better healers in the series, and Fram is just good. And you get them early, you could tool them however you'd like, and I feel like that's a good thing for a healer, because there are definitely healers in the Fire Emblem series that have fall off. Well, not really fall off. They're just bad because of the timing of when you get them. And Fram doesn't have that problem. I'm gonna hesitantly put them in A. I will also try to rearrange characters in the suborder, but that's gonna get more annoying later on. Okay. Now, where is the man with arthritis? Okay. I'm pretty sure one of my friends is gonna dig into me about this ranking, but I really hate to say it. He's not that good. He just isn't. I mean, yeah, he's an early game Calv, but he does. You're gonna have to level him up several times before he is more useful than Vander. I mean, he's a royal in this game, which means he gets a unique promotion, but it isn't even that great considering other royals in the game. And I just kind of wonder, like, he could have been a lot better. His growths aren't impressive. He's not really. I mean, sure, you're definitely supposed to give him Sigurd's rank, but there's so many better options for that. And I know as a casual, you're probably going to give him Sigurd's ring, and knowing that, it's definitely going to be a C or a B, even though I personally, in my playthroughs, don't use them really at all. Um, you know what? I mean, for a casual Fire Emblem player, I feel like he's in the same boat with Clan. I feel like these two kind of in the same category. If you're well versed with the game, you know it. You're probably not gonna use them that much. However, as a first time player, they're good. Like they're serviceable. They're not that impressive. But yeah. Ah, the GBA Archer. Okay. I hate to be that guy, but I feel like archers are overhated. And the Etier problem, I'd say, is entirely growth based. I know a lot of people say Etier is a bad unit for a wide variety of reasons. I'd say as a casual Fire Emblem player, like until you get Alchrist, Etier actually does some work. Like it's a chip damage unit. I understand that much. Its strength's their main category. They don't have hit rate problems because they're in a game where hit rate problems aren't really a thing, even on the highest difficulties. So, I mean, that also backfires in a lot of ways for ETA because a lot of units in this game are incredibly accurate. Um, like, you have to really respec your weapons and modify them in a way that makes them inaccurate to worry about hit rate problems and engage. Um, I mean, I got some Etier bias personally. I generally the two boys in the sea right now and Vander, they get booted earlier than Etier when I personally play. However, if I'm gonna be honest with myself here, like, I'm gonna put this here, like, cause just factoring Etier bias, it's C tier, much better. Okay, now I just mentioned how I definitely you might argue with me with the Etier ranking. Boucheron might be another character you argue with me with because I know axes are pretty good in engage because especially at the casual level, the weapon triangle is fairly balanced for this game. With the break system, with other mechanics introduced, different reclassing, there's nothing inherently bad with being in axes in this game. But whenever I see a character whose highest growth is in HP by a lot, I raise an eyebrow to it. I mean, he's kind of tanky. I see if you're not gonna use Vander that long, like if Vander's the first guy you bench, and also considering the other two you get here, like if you consider the cast you have at this point, he is the second most bulky unit. He this one of the two units who can use axes. I mean, like he's if you're gonna replace Vander early, he's definitely good. And like he's one of the two, again, you get a hand axe fairly early in this game. The real question with Boucheron is how far down the line are you actually going to use him? Like, are you planning to use this guy for long? Because if you're looking at him as a long-term unit, I'm going to put him in D tier. Like, it's not that great. Like, these three over here in C tier, like, you're going to have to show some favoritism, but they're still going to be endgame viable on hard. Like, Boucheron kind of runs in the problem of, like, he is great as a short-term unit. He's one of those great short-term units. However, if you're using him after you lose the emblem rings, why? That's generally my question, because at that point, I'd argue Jade actually does a better job of doing fairly the same thing. So I'm putting him above Vander because I would say he is a better unit in the early game. However, like if you're using him long term, it's just not a good idea. Well, you'll get away with it in Engage. Engage is one of those easier games that I'll be ranking today, especially like the higher difficulties. Like hard Engage isn't that hard. Like there's a giant difficulty jump between, but hard and maddening, but that's really it. Next recruits Saline. Oh boy. So this is a unit where you kind of get that Robin from Awakening. Like if you played Awakening, you're like, yes, a unit that can split between physical and magic. But unfortunately, in this game, it is not. The split isn't that good. I mean, the promote skill's good, and coming with the Celica ring, the only real candidate you'll give it to. You could give it to Clan, but it's kind of memey. I mean, maybe if he got some good level ups since it's your first time playing, you'll give it to him rather than Saline. However, I don't know. I mean, Saline is a unit I can see you using in endgame. It's not super impressive. It's better than the C tier and D tiers. I'm not going to yap too much about this one anymore. You're just going in B. You're a decent unit who's unfortunately in a game where splitting between magic and strength isn't that good. Like, it's decent, but it's not really what you want to do. This is a very min-max Fire Emblem game. Talking about min-maxing, the GOAT of armors. Because Louis is one of those characters who I would say if you're playing this on a high difficulty, if you're playing on hard classic or casual maddening, because I'm not really going to talk about it that much, but this game and we'll talk about it a bit more, is a unit you ideally stop using a little bit after you lose the rings. But you're playing this game on hard or normal, he just rakes, man. This is some Barry Bonds post having Wheaties in his breakfast every morning type numbers. I mean, yes, he's an armor knight, which makes him cripplingly allergic to anything that is magic. However, this is like Lucas from Echo's levels of Chad who does not care about physical damage. This is like your like I'd argue this is one of the most balanced armors in the series. And maybe it's some favoritism. He's going in B tier for me. I'd actually argue he does a better job than the person he is retaining for. However, maybe that's a bit extreme, but especially as a casual, like, and you're not playing on maddening, Louis brings a lot to the table in a series where armors normally don't, and I have to give him props for that as a unit. Ah, there's not much to be said about this one. It's a Pegasus Knight who is built correctly, and in Fire, and it doesn't hit like a wet noodle, which in Fire Emblem means regardless of what difficulty you play on, you're going into A tier. Like it is that simple, that easy to rank. It is like maybe not an S. There's a couple units here I'd rather put. I mean, maybe. I feel like it's more of a reveal for the end of each game. However, yeah, I feel pretty confident putting them there. Ah, so Jean or Jean. I don't know, man. It's a very French name, and I'm pretty sure they pronounce it in a very French way. I'm not good with that, and unfortunately, this is a character I'd call like as a casual. If you like your growth units, you're gonna use them. But as someone who is just playing it casually, you're not being optimal, but you just want to have a fieldable army, I'd argue that like if you like Jean, definitely train him because this tier list is as a casual one is almost every unit, especially in the modern Fire Emblem games, is can become your personal like best unit of the game, depending on how much you invest in them, if you feed them kills, so on and so forth. I'd argue Jean isn't even the best growth unit in his own in like the game where he's supposed to be like a Donald type character, the trainee. His starting class, he can't really get kills. You're just giving him staff XP, and I mean, sure, in the late game he's usable. I mean, he's like at least as a casual, you're not doing really weird reclassing, or you're not doing like serious reclassing. Because I feel like that's the big definition of casual and engage is, am I doing optimal reclassing? And I'd say with you're gonna use them as what Fram already does. So, and Fram isn't even that bad as a unit. Like, not quite a growth unit, but you don't need to give that much to Fram, and it just works. And it's good. Like, because you have to give like a pretty good amount of XP to Jean. I mean, he comes with Chain Guard, which is great. But at the same time, I can't put personally. I'm putting him in B tier. Like he's good. Like I personally never use him. Well, I'd say never. When I am ranking a game here, because there will be some games I will not be ranking during this stream. It's a game where I have at least done like at least 3 maps with a unit, and have leveled them up at least 5 times for basically every unit in said game. So I could give you like a decent idea of what you're working with here. Who else? Trying to remember order. Yunaka. Yeah. Okay. Yunaka's weird. Definitely a great early game unit. The Yunaka can't kill any late game unit with a serious defense stat, but that's given with a thief in this game, or just thieves in general. Especially when you don't have any dagger that does bonus damage against armors in this game. I mean, you kind of run into that same problem as some of the other units that I'll be mentioning in the first half of this game, where you have the definitely useful, but you can't like you could definitely have them in the end game, but they start to fall off, and you start feeling it even on like the lower and middle difficulties. Because Yunaka, once we get to mention it to a later unit, gets completely outclassed by someone else in the late game. But I I'm gonna still put Yunaka in B. Like I would say better than Jean. Like, do I raise a bit of an eyebrow if I see Yunaka in endgame and you did not give them the bond ring or whatever? Yeah, I do, but it's your game, man. I'm not gonna criticize you that much for a Yunaka pick. Ah, where are you? Here you are. And now the reason why Jean is just not even the best growth unit in his game is Ana just has high growth rates, and actually can kill things on arrival. Like, until you get to, like, even, what is it? Maddening difficulty Ana can still kill things. I mean, it's not super consistently, because no unit in this game, other than, like, a select group of, like, 5 can kill things consistently out of the box on maddening. This, what is it? The personal skill, I mean, I'm a rat for money in Fire Emblem. Even if I'm not gonna use money, I require I require thy money. It is required. But I mean, hey, you could magic reclass, but whether you do that or not, Ana's just good. I mean, you don't run into the Jean problem of investment that isn't perfect. Like, I could, like, growth units I can somewhat see reclassing, because even with Jean, what are you going to reclass him into realistically? It's probably going to be in a class where there's already a unit who does the job better. But Ana is weird, in which her luck growth rate, even though most games when I see a luck growth rate, I just go, ew, put that into something else, makes you like a crit threat in a game where crit reliability is a factor, because you could get some jank crit rates in this game, even on maddening. I have a screenshot personally of a unit we will be looking at a little bit later of them having 100 hit and crit on maddening difficulty, which is just incredibly ridiculous. But yeah, there isn't a ton to be broken down. This we're looking at this at a casual level. We're just gonna yap about it. If this wasn't a casual tier list, Ana would probably be ranked a little bit higher within A, but right there I'd say is fine. Not missing anyone from the first act, right? Yeah. So now, Brodia units. Alchrist. Okay. Welcome to a Fire Emblem game where bows are actually useful. You're just gonna, it's just better than Etier. Just, there's no one else in this game who's an archer that, actually no, there is Fogado. We will get to him. I personally have some problems as a casual using Fogado. But with his royal promotion, with when you get him, with the next couple maps, once you get him, there's a lot of flyers, there's a lot of times that he could get XP. And, I mean, he's just good. There's not much else to say about him. I mean, he does have some endgame fall-off problems on higher difficulties, but I mean, that could be said about a lot of this game's cast. So, I mean, I'm going to put him in A. And when we get to Fogado, I'm going to have a debate with myself about maybe putting him into B. But for now, I'm happy with this. Ah. I'm sorry. If you are a fan of this character, I have met, one of my friends is a fan of this character, and there are other people I've met who are not like the main people I'm gonna send this video to afterwards, who I also know really like this character. I hate to say this, I really do. Swords and engage, if you are not a dodge unit, kind of stink. And the personal skill isn't good. I mean, it's fine. But realistically, this is a character you use if you like the personality, you like the character. Are they a D tier unit? No. I'd say they're definitely better than these two. I could see you using them a bit longer. I'll put you here for now. I don't think, you don't have a royal promotion. I can't put you above Alchrist. forgot Alfred. But I could justify you being there. Go. Who is next? If it is not the one of the most min-maxed mages in the entirety of Fire Emblem. So, you're a casual player. You like using magic in a game where magic is good. And this is a min-max magic nuke. Is it good as Lysithea? No. But very few units in this series are as good as Lysithea. So you're just gonna be put into, specifically in this game, I'm putting you I'll put you between Ana. Because, like, in casual setting, I could see you just not wanting to use Ana because, like, if you're playing on normal, there, unless you are a fiend for money like me, I could easily see you passing up on Ana, especially if you're already training Jean. Because you got to consider you're probably, well, you could be running both. But if you're running both, you're no longer playing the game with casual strategy. And I would say you're playing with either something deranged, or this is your first Fire Emblem game and you don't really understand why they're bad initially. So yeah. Okay. Now, Diamant. Where do I start with you? You have some of the same problems that I said earlier about swords in this game, where if you're not a dodge or a crit unit with a sword, you're generally not that amazing. Like, sure, his promotion is probably one of the best royal promotions, I'd say, outside of Tamara, and then I'd personally argue Hortensia has a better royal promotion. I'd say you're probably in the top 3 for that. But at the same time, it's not like you're good because of the promotion. If he did not have that promotion, he wouldn't be super great. I definitely would see putting him in B tier. I would say above Jean because as a casual investment, units are very shaky. Like, I could definitely see you using him though. He's a gritty, like, older style Fire Emblem looking unit. Like, if you're a fan of Ike, I could even though he comes with Roy as his ring, I could very much see you using him. And if you've played older Fire Emblem games, and be like, yes, this reminds me of the old days. We had really gritty protagonists where games can get really dark. Yeah, okay. And I mean, I feel like he's more of a Fire Emblem main character than the actual main character for Engage. As you, oh my gosh, you have a father in a Fire Emblem game. You're no longer allowed to have said father. So yeah, I'd put him in B tier. The family issues and the mental scarring, that's just a bonus perk. Mm. So you're a character who Amber is tied for having the highest strength growth in this game, which you wouldn't think. And a lot of people hate on Amber as not as a unit, like combat wise, but on I've seen people comment on how Amber's voice was so annoying that they muted the game, which I wouldn't go that far. I didn't really find him that annoying at all. The alpaca wrangling master is not that annoying in my opinion. I mean, I'd argue he is the Sigurd Ring candidate as a casual unit. He's better than Alfred in that high. It was high damage, comes with the killer lance, so viability on lance units is even better. I mean, I could see you definitely giving that to Chloe. Like, I could easily see you give that killer lance to Chloe. But at the same time, it's a debate on where in A he goes, because this is a Magic centric game, but this is a casual list. If you are a casual player, let me think. I put him around Citrine because even though he doesn't have a unique promotion, with the tools that Cavaliers get in this game, this is another game. This is a Fire Emblem game where Cavaliers are really good, even if they don't have access to Magic, mainly because of Sigurd. So I'll put you behind Citrine because a lot of people just don't like using you. Jade. You're kind of just like a worse Louis, but you get a lot of flack because people say that your growths are too general and you have a res growth as an armor, which I'd actually say is a good thing. I would say this is a lot of people criticize, "Oh, you have a res growth as an armor. What is this?" Yeah, it's a little weird, but it's weird because we're not used to seeing that. You start as an axe armor. I mean, if you're going for the funny immovable walls, you could. I have a number of times just had Jade and Louis just march next to each other through the center of a map and be perfectly fine. Even on the higher difficulties, they are so bulky, it just does not affect them. So, I personally think you're worse than Louis because you have a magic growth, which you really don't like. That's kind of stink, and also you come in a little bit later, where you're not really justified to be in the army. I mean, I think B might be a little too high. I'd actually put them high C. If you because this is a game where armors are good, and yeah, you could definitely get away with it. And no, I'm not really going to consider the DLC classes that are definitely like shaped towards you could reclass Jade into, because I am not. I'll be real with you. Even though I got the Engage DLC, do I regret getting it? I mean, kinda, because I think it is atrocious. You have to play through the entirety of the. Oh my god, what is it? The entirety of the campaign, the bonus campaign, over to get all the units from it. Like, I know this game has no new game plus, but it's really annoying, and I just do runs without them, even though I have the DLC. You know what? You know, let's since we're on the topic, let's actually go to DLC units for this game because you could get them around this time. I would like to say it's like once you enter Brodia, I think it's when you can first go there. I'm probably wrong about that, but I think it's somewhere around there. So, where we go with this? So, being a dragon unit in this game is unique, and I mean your stats are good. Your I don't remember a whole lot about you stat wise, mainly because you didn't disappoint, but you weren't the like amazing in anything. Like, you are definitely a good unit for this game because you have a unique action. You can become a dragon. You are unique in that manner, and the dragon stone in this game is pretty darn good. But you don't excel. So I'm put you in A. I would say Engage has a lot of A tier units. There's a lot of good units, but you're definitely going into the bottom of A. Into your brother. I mean, his growths are just better. Like, I don't know. Like, it's a shame you have to go through a DLC to get these guys because they are like both good units. They're like good units, but the DLC for Engage stinks. No, I'm gonna adjust this a bit because as a casual, you care a little bit more about killing potential. I'm gonna move that around. DLC. Eh. So, I know this isn't really the correct order. I'm just doing them as I see them for the DLC units. You have a unique problem of you're an armor in this game who you can't justify using because you're so slow and you aren't actually that tanky. You're an offense first armor, which, I mean, if you're an offense first unit, why are you in an armor class? This is really the question I would. How did Twitch not flag that? Oh my god. How do I. Yeah, no. Do not care about stream bots. Be gone. Anyway. So, because this is honestly just. I'm doing this on Twitch because I find it easier to record with Twitch than other services because I still can't figure out OBS. So, back to Madeline, I believe is the DLC name of this character. Um, I mean, it's all right. Like, if you were as a casual, you'd have to reclass to fix this. Yeah, I think you're the top of D tier because I like Marnie and Madeline personally as a character, so I did oh my god, I did take the time to use them, but it's not really great. This is like a favoritism unit. It's like these two over here. You're another offender of this, where you have the problem of you're decent. Okay, wait, give me a second. I'm gonna upset my friends real quick. But yeah, these two have a problem. Of they're good. They're just you as a casual. They are not good. Like comparative to other things, you need to do things to fix the unit, which I would say definitely puts them lower. Like if you are going to do the things to fix these units, they'd B and B. They're better than these four. You know, I honestly should add a new row, and I'm going to rename this one. It's going to be fixable. Like you're not quite bad. You're just in an odd category on like you're out of the box kind of bad. And in the long game, if you keep them where they are, they're bad. Clan is not fixable. I know when I was talking about him, oh, you just reclass him. No, don't. But yeah, that's what we're dealing with. Oh yeah, we're still on DLC units. Ah, it's a good magic unit in a game where magic is good. Yes. There's not much else to say about him. He's he's just a good mage in a game where mages are great. You. Yes. I mean, you have some killing problems depending on when you finish the DLC, but if for the assumption of this, you are playing the DLC prior to losing the first set of rings. And that's generally also where I rank these people comparatively. Yep. You're another great you're I would say a better mage unit. You start as a flyer, you're in a semi-unique class. Good. Not much else to say. Where are we in the story? completed Brodia. So, yeah. I probably forgot about someone being recruited in between, but I kind of. I know I didn't. Okay. Ah. This is a character that in fandom wise, would call someone like Agnes Tachyon from Uma Musume on. This character is glazed a little too hard for mainly Gooner purposes, and I don't know how to feel about that. But as an actual unit, you have a royal promote. You're a mage in a unit where mages are good. Are you the best mage option? No. Are you unique other than your personal promotion? No. You're just a good mage in a game where mages are good. You're here. I'm sorry. Good day, sir. I know if someone just comes across this video on YouTube randomly, they might get a little tilted on these rankings, but I don't really care. Kagetsu. Ah. So, this is literally just like Kamui from Echoes. Like he's not impressive as a unit, but due to the circumstances in where they come into game, and due to their promotion line, and due to their stat spread, they're good. But on like gameplay wise, they were incredibly sketchy to deal with. But if they get some decent level ups, or you're playing on fixed growths, because that's another assumption with this list. You're playing on fixed. We don't as much as gambling is fun. Gambling is not fun when it comes to growth rates in Fire Emblem. You, if proper time is given to you, where some of these units don't need proper time, you are good. You are better than Diamant. You're better than Yunaka. Yeah. A lot of people put him in A. Personally wouldn't. Zelkov. Yes. Okay, so you have more kill ability than Yunaka, but your join time, a lot of units at this point that you'll be using have good kill ability. And he is not an end game unit. He's like Yunaka. There's only one starting thief in this game that has end game kill ability. And it is not Zelkov. I'm going to put you in C tier. I know it's kind of debatable, but I would say the circumstances of when you join, it's just not worth it too much. Recruit order. Next is... Oh yeah, the first group here. So, Fogado. This one's going to take a while for me to break down, because this entire discussion with Fogado that I'm going to have with myself here is entirely based on how good he is compared to Alchrist. Because this is a game where bows are good, but they're not the best. Sure, he has Horse, but this is not Fire Emblem 4, which does not directly make him better. Is there a specific engage ring you want to give him? Not really. I mean, both of them fight over Lyn a bit as a casual player. I mean, tankiness, they're fairly the same. Damage-wise, I mean, I'd rather take Alchrist's promotion personally. Like, he's undeniably good. I'd put him above Ivy. I know that much for sure. The question is he an A-tier unit? not an A tier right now. I'm gonna put you in the highest of B. I feel like that's the cutoff standard here. You got the units who are good because of circumstances of game is kind of that cutoff between A and B. Ah, does much need to be said about this guy? Like, he's kind of a meme tier unit. Like his stats, I mean, he can attack things. That is indeed a thing. But it's too bad to the point of being a meme because there is a unit here. It's not a joke unit. You're just your personal skill is awful. It is your growths are bad and you start in a worse version of armor because you don't have the break protect if you're a mounted armor in this game. Bad. I know I'm going with general. He's gonna be one of like probably the three people at the end of today in the F tier. Okay. I said I was probably gonna leave S till the end. We're not even gonna joke around about this. This is the best out of the box mage in the game. They have stave access, they're end game ready, and the growths are there. The supports are there. Like, casual or not, Pandreo is the best unit in Engage. He's out of the box good. He's like he's not even a filler unit because he just replaced someone. The only problem that Pandreo like does have is he doesn't come with chain guard. But if that is what I'm nitpicking, when you're already one of the best units in the game without that, I can see why he doesn't come with it. Okay, here we go. Tamara, great unique promotion. One of the few spear units in this game that are like really good. Sandstorm, really good. You join at a good time for what your stats are, and you have a lot of personality. Honestly, I would say, I mean, Ike isn't the best ring for you to come with, but that really doesn't matter in the casual perspective. I mean, I'm why am I even thinking about this? No, I know why I'm thinking about this. It's because there are so many units in Solm in this game that are really good comparative to the rest of the game units in this game. You are an A tier unit. You are better than your brother. You're better than Alchrist. I'd actually put you up here, but this area here is going to change around a bit. And that's mainly because these two over here are absolute monsters in this game. This is. But I know I'm ranking them both at the same time, but I'm going to explain why. These two are really good out of the box, and if you actually take time to level them, are two of the strongest units in this game. One of them's a lot. Marin's a lot more utility, but this is a game where utility is good, where you have movement, debuffs, etc., etc. Mounted Thief is good. Unique skill is good. I mean, and then you have Panette. If this was not a casual tier list, Panette would probably, and it was entirely based on my own opinion and my own experience of this game, Panette would be ranked number 2. Out of the sheer principle of building units in this game, Panette has the most broken combo imaginable. When you I mean, you don't even really need to go for the reclass, but you reclass to have bow access, but still keep the axe. Oh. And it's just the killer build. This was the 100 hit crit I was talking about earlier in maddening. Panette has a really weird crit builds where you could kill anything that does not have a high dodge chance. Like, you one round armors, you one round mages, you can counter at most distances with the proper build. It's the only character who wants Leaf as their emblem support, which no other character in this game really wants. So I would personally, if I was having the bias, not the casual player, the person who attempts maddening, struggles with it, and eventually gets through it, but it did not go pretty because you were playing on casual, I would put Panette higher. But I would say as a casual unit who doesn't have a ton of unit favoritism, yeah. Like, you could completely miss out on Panette if you're just like, oh, it's random Berserker with Axe. Cool. And then you just see the other two units that come here and be like, they gotta be bad then. I would say that's kind of the problem with these three, if you don't know about them beforehand, is that you'll probably use one or two of them, see that they are really good, and assume that the other two are really bad. But that is not at all the case. Here we go. It's a dancer unit. It's a dancer unit in a game where you can dance through other methods, though, because of Byleth. And you get Emblem Byleth just before this? I mean, okay, this is a game. We're bringing up the age-old Fire Emblem debate. Is this a game where dancers are good because you want your best unit to take another action, or is this a game where dancers are bad because you're just making another good unit do another action? Like, this is the age-old dancer debate. I mean, you already get the dance from Byleth, but that's an engage thing, and like, without emblem rings, you're easily an A tier. But I would say dancing's already a thing in this game, and you're not, like, even on Madden, you're not, like, needed. Also, coming with Emblem Corrin, I kind of get it, but if it was Azura, it would make a lot more sense. I mean, why didn't you do that knowing that Lucina's in this game as one of the base emblems? I don't get it. But be controversial. I'm gonna put him in B tier. Here we go to these three. So I was mentioning earlier with Marin, where you have, this is a game where utility is good. And this is a staff unit. This is mainly a staff bot that's a flyer. However, because of the emblem twist in this game, with Emblem Corrin, you basically have one of the best utility healers in the entire Fire Emblem series. And so I am gonna have to put you with Fram, because you two do very similar jobs. Do I think you're slightly better than Fram? Yes, I honestly do. You don't have Chain Guard, which, as a casual not playing on Maddening, doesn't matter a ton. On Maddening, this would be the other way around easily. But as a casual, you definitely put this unit here. High defense unit. Highest defense growth in the game, in fact. What to do with you? You're a spear unit. You don't have any unique promotes. You come at a time where the team is really busy, and you basically have all of the, like, S tier units at this point already. You have them. You were already in Solm, so I mean, you're good. You're definitely good. You're serviceable. I would say you're the top serviceable. That's where I'm gonna put you. That feels about right. Okay. So, the funny femboy man over here, you as a unit suffer from being after Psalm because you're good, but are you good enough to take a team spot late in the game where you have already gotten them like all of the great cast already? I mean, if you're playing on Classic and someone died who's really good, you're definitely a good pick. But considering join timing, you fall with the other retainer. You're good. Like if everyone in this game joined at the same time, you would be higher. Like with stats like evened out, so everyone would have around the same stats at the same time. You would be much higher. I'd put you probably high B, because there are some of these units that are good because of join time. Some of these units are good because oh, they've joined at the perfect time. You two these two retainers suffer from the problem of you generally have your team up and running at this point. Wait, no, you're first. Old man character. You're a mage who is clearly a replacement unit. But mages are good in this game. So I'm gonna put you in B tier. I mean, he is serviceable. But he's another like yeah, he's like these three. I mean these two. He falls in the category. He's a good unit, but his join time is just awful. Yeah, no, you're a magic unit. You'd split the difference. You're here. The magic makes you a little better, but your stat line doesn't justify going higher. Mm. Mm-mm. You want to talk about a unit that's been done really dirty? This character has a slightly worse stat line than base Panette. What? I don't know what they were smoking when they made this unit stat pool, because it is really bad for when you get them, regardless of it. They don't hit too hard, and like the problem with this unit is you are directly competing with Panette, and you've gotten Panette earlier. Panette had higher bases at join time, and you've had several chapters and paralogs in between. And as a casual, I don't really see you replacing Panette. You fall into the category. You are clearly a filler unit if someone died, which I'd actually even put you behind Jade, because this is incredibly insulting. It is this, like, your stat spread is incredibly insulting on join time. Ugh. I mean, actually, no, not even. I'm putting you in D tier. You are actually no, because you guys are usable on join. You are not. You're innately just a bad unit. You're not quite as bad as Boone over here, because your innate build and what you want to go into in this game is really good. But you're just kind of here. I'm sorry. And now the final two units for this game to rank. You are a filler unit who is meant to replace, but you're good. Ta-da. There's not much else to say here. And then Vale, your only problem is your join time, but you are easily one of the best units in this game. Boop. And that is Fire Emblem Engage. I'm just going to do a quick look over before we get done with this segment of the tier list. Is there anything I'd like to change around? I mean, no, not really. I kind of like this tier list. I'd say it's pretty accurate for like a casual player. I mean, you can make arguments about rearranging A tier, but and maybe putting Fogado in A tier, average dancer, but the shuffle order here is really to your opinion. Yeah, I'm happy with this. I would say, yeah, Pandreo still is easily the go to of Engage. But now, it is time for three houses and three hopes as well. And I'm not really sure how to rank three hopes, but sure. So I was doing join order earlier, but I do not feel like that is the proper way to sort three houses. I'm gonna do it just how I feel like it. We're just gonna grab someone at random and start going. You. Oh, oops. So, the father who left to get milk is who we're gonna start off with. I have not much else to say about this character other than you're kind of bad. Like you're this is mainly going to be three houses tier list until we get to units who are unique only to three hopes, and that's going to look really jank looking. But I guess we're just going to deal with it. You have the innate problem of you're just a worse version of a unit who already exists uniquely to your route. Now, if you failed to do the paralog to keep to do, that is the only time this guy is useful. You're a filler unit, but you're not actually that good. I don't think we're gonna rate by game. We might, because each game's a little bit different. We might later on, depending on how long this video / stream goes. But yeah. Random grab. Okay. Thankfully, this is the haircut that is slightly better for Lorenz. Now, as a unit, do I consider the value of your paralog equip staff to your value? Because if I do, I'd put you fairly high. Because the Theorist staff is incredibly broken. However, you run into this problem on you can't make up your mind if you're a Cavalier or a Mage. And, like, as a casual, it's serviceable. I'm not really going to count the Theorist to this ranking. He'd be an A if you did, but that's mainly just because of what we'll get to later. Ignatz. So, what are you going to do with a casual using Ignatz? You're probably going to make him an archer or an assassin of some sort. Now, is his personal skill a little weird considering that you're going to try to make him an archer or an assassin? A little. Especially on hard and normal difficulty. His personal skill's a little weird looking. Because it's something you normally get as an archer anyway. I mean, he's good. His stat spread's good. He's not yeah, he's in a house where a lot of the characters you could give bows and they'll be good. But if you really look at the Golden Deer, none of the units are... I'm actually going to hold that thought. None of the units are bad enough that you just go, nah, I'm just not going to use you. Ignatz is good. I'm not going to say serviceable. He's definitely better than Lorenz. I can tell you that much. Is he like A tier? No. If you have everyone, then grab someone. Oh, DLC unit. Wow, it's a game where mages are actually just good. They're not as great as Engage. Do you have to have the DLC to own this unit? Yes. Do they have a unique crest weapon? No. Are you clearly meant to be classed into mobile mage? Yes. The question is that much better than the average student? Well, it's better than Lorenz, so you're going into beat. Because you're not having an identity crisis. Hilda! Okay, I was originally a Hilda hater before I actually did Golden Deer. And I hate to admit that. However, if we're talking about Hilda unit-wise, if the first words I hear out of someone's mouth in a comment section of this video is, but in 3 houses, this unit is clearly really good as a wyvern rider. Shush. Commit mouth shut. We're not playing optimally here. This is not... You are an insult to the game and everything I stand for personally. You... Are axes good in 3 houses? Yes. Is Hilda's unique weapon for her crest really good? Yes. We're just gonna... 3 houses is mainly just going to be a checklist on the tier. This is probably going to go faster compared to Engage. Hilda's supports are good, but like no one in this game really has bad supports. So I mean, it's an axe unit, heals damage. You probably don't want to give them the throwing axe. It's a little sketchy. I'm gonna put you in A, because you're not having an identity crisis and don't have some weird, like, if you really look into it, problem. It's a shame you are not available in Black Eagles. Lindhart. Ah, it's your average healer who can somehow deal really good damage with the spell Wind? I don't know why. He really doesn't seem like he does, but high magic, personal skills a little finicky. It's a little odd because it's doing nothing with your support mage. He comes in a group which is mostly mages, but he is clearly your only like reasonable heal option in that group. Because depending on which sub route you're doing, depending like I feel like I should specify where I'm ranking these characters. I'm generally going to be ranking them initially based on what house that they defaultly come in, but also like a small bit of the affectant ranking will be like if you recruit them to another house, like are they good? But initial thoughts will be based on their own. Of course, the DLC units and the recruit by anyone choices are be a little different. But Linhardt, see a damage dealer in a game where dealing damage is really good? No. Dealing damage in this game is really good though. But I would argue you are the best support mage in the game. I'm gonna give you A tier. Let's just get this out of the way. Anna, I'm sorry. This is your worst game. You don't have supports. You're a mix in between all the other Annas prior, which, I mean, is decent. But your skill group and also your recruit timing and how the students are just better. I mean, it's alright. You're better than this absolute clown in E tier, but it's bad. Like, you want supports in this game. Petra! Yes, you're Ignots, but you don't have any of the problems. There isn't much. Like, yeah, the res isn't there. You may raise an eyebrow at first to the personal skill of the plus 50% crit when enemies below 50% HP, and go, why? You just want to kill. And then you remember monsters exist in this game. And then you actually really like that personal skill. Yeah, you can't mage Petra, but it's incredibly similar to Ignatz, but it's just a better personal skill, and the growth rates are a little bit better. So yeah, just Petrim better. Also, she's not role fighting in her own house. There's no one else really does that in Black Eagles. So yeah. Dorothea. Okay, now let's get ready for a hot take here. Dorothea is the worst mage of the Black Eagles. This, I mean, you have Meteor, and I hate to boil down Dorothea to this. The reason I'm not going to put her in the same tier as Lorenz is entirely because her personal skill basically makes it so she permanently wants to be glazing Ferdinand. It is so weird. It is so weird to look at. It's it's funny, but I haven't checked OBS in a while. Is it freaking out? I hope it isn't. It is detecting my audio. Is it? I'm gonna raise that a bit. There. Okay. So maybe a whisper. I apologize to your ears if you couldn't hear anything, but okay. Here we go. Gerald's. Oh wait, I just forgot to rank you. Yeah, I mean you're B tier. Your personal skill saves you. I haven't actually had to do any. Actually, let's rearrange up here. I'll do that. Other than that, it's basically been the order of my. Gerald, you are. You're just gonna be put in Hill. That's probably what I'm gonna do with these three Hopes characters. We might get back to them. Let's just grab you. Get over here. Get over here. I don't know how to rank you because you're a post game, a new game plus unit, which is really weird. Get over there. Anyone else? No, you. Not missing. Oh, Arvel. And you. This is it. I want to say that's it. Yeah. Okay. We're good. Hanneman. Okay. You're. I mean, it's alright. You're a dark mage, and you get. Yeah, you're an offensive magic mage who isn't that great at what you do. You join at a. Like, I understand you joining late. It makes sense story wise. You just. Eh. It's not great. It's not good either. It's there. It's a did your unit die permanently unit. Ah, it's Felix time. Felix time means A tier. Okay. Now, before I get dogpiled, I'm gonna say this is a casual ranking. We are not. I know that the class line that they want you to go down with Mortal Savant kind of stinks in the meta, but Felix in the early game is great. He's the best sword unit in the game that is not named Byleth, or in case you name them Stinkhead, not named Stinkhead. It's like he's good. He's just good. He's a great damage dealer. I know he's in a very physical based house, but that's the only reason he's behind Lindhart is because very physical based house, but he's the best sword unit of that house. And if you're like that one person I talked to in high school and made him an archer, I don't know what you are doing and what you are smoking. But, I mean, he'd still be good. He'd still be good. Ah, we get another DLC unit. You are a slightly worse version of Happy. I still think you're better than Dorothea, though. There's not much else to say. The stat spread, you're a little bit less bulky. I mean, Flying Mage isn't as good as Horse Mage, I'm be real. Your supports are a little worse. I know it's weird to say that, but yeah. There isn't a ton of difference in between these two, I feel like I should say. Well, let's do Raphael. So, big strong guy. He is good with the high HP growth. He doesn't have the Boucheron problem because being bulky in the Golden Deer is incredibly important because there's like two people in that house that survive more than a sneeze initially, which are him and Hilda. And then, I mean, kind of Leone, but kind of got the Archer problem. I mean, he's a funny guy, but as a unit, I mean, he's better than the Rent. I mean, physical when you're not using arts all the time, and melee being a new mechanic for three houses, and casually, I put him here. But I will say, if it is Raphael as a dancer, as you should, because it's funny, he's definitely an S tier unit. What do we got here? Cyril. The child I wish to be incinerated because he's bad. Like, what do you even class him into? Because this is a character you class him into whatever, which a lot of these characters in this game are, but there's clearly things that the game pushes you towards. But with Cyril, the only thing that's good about him is the vengeance builds if you're being really sweaty and you're not playing casually. So, I'm going to put him, because, like, with his join time, he's decent. He's not great. Like, he's only viable in 2 routes, even though he's available in 3 of them. What to do? Wait a minute. Yeah, I'm gonna put you here because I'm nerfing you for one of the 3 routes. You are a really bad unit. Like, come on, man. Let's do route specific. Death Knight. He's kind of a replacement unit, but the thing is, his stat spread's really good too. But you're not quite A tier because you're kind of have the issue of your mixed stat wise. Put you here. I might move you around. No, actually, your support pool's really small, so. Doo. I mean, he's just a better version of the dad who got milk because he joined earlier. And he does run into one problem, though, which is the gap of maps where you don't have him in time skip, which is an issue, is an actual issue. But at the same time, you're better than Dorothea. And you're probably better than the Death Knight, too. So, yeah, happy with that. Game where archers are incredibly good, who comes with Hunter's Volley and is innately in the class they want to be in. You can get them in an advanced class early, which is super broken and is already functioning really well because you can kill armors as an archer, even on hard difficulty. Like, what? Like, one rounding? That's not normally a thing in Fire Emblem. You are a high A tier unit because you come out of the box exactly as, like, with the entire checklist of what you want. set for an archer, and it's just unmatched. And you have whole game, no matter what route you're in, you're viable. No, you're available in all four routes, and just why would you not use Shamir? Like, I mean, supports maybe. I don't know, but oh my god, it's Manfroy. Okay, no. Okay, when we're talking about the funny Lord Voldemort over here, you gotta think about the context of Black Eagles because it's the only route okay, other than Silver Snow, where you're probably not going to use him that much if you're metagaming, but as a casual, it's a definite factor to put in because you only get to use him for half the game in one of the routes, and then the other route, he's really good because I'd argue he's the second best. Can I argue that he's the second best mage in this game, damage wise? Oh no, he just is. He just is. Like, other than Lysithea, there's no one who really does dark magic better. And, I mean, the only reason I don't think he's ranked higher by people most of the time is because, well, Lysithea exists. Now, can I willingly put you in A tier? No, because you have some issues, because in one of the two routes where you use, you don't exist for the second half. Fun. I will also say this, like, the differences in between C, B, and A for this game is going to be a lot smaller than the differences between A, B, and C in Engage. There's like a bigger difference here because aside from this bozo, the dad who left to got milk, there is no, like, atrociously bad units in this game. Manuela. Okay. You are just another replacement. You're going in the replacement unit tier. I'd say you're better than Hanneman because the light magic pool is better, but you're worse than Anna. I mean, at least you have supports. Simple and easy. The alcoholic nurse, I mean, fun. Thumbs up. Thumbs up to Cougars. But at the same time, not a huge fan of a unit-wise. Ingrid. Okay. Funny thing about Ingrid. Because of the way that I'm formatting this, Ingrid is probably going to be ranked way lower than you'd think. Because the funny thing about Ingrid is she is really good in all houses except her own house. Because Pegasus Knight doesn't really have a ton of synergy with what you normally do as a casual with the Blue Lions. So, because you're a spear unit when everyone else, what was it? Because Dimitri's a spear unit. You're probably gonna have Sylvain as a spear unit, and like do you looking at who's left here? Like, if you do Cursed Funny Ash spear unit too, Ash is actually gonna do a better job. I hate to say it. You're like, if you were in a different house, if Ingrid was in a different house initially, like if you put Ingrid in a weird utility role elsewhere, like, Ingrid is just so much better. But the problem is you're a C tier unit because of the circumstances in which you exist in this game. I'd put you below Raphael because your circumstance in joining really stinks. In what route you're normally in. It's bad for you because even the maps, just like, sure, use Ingrid. Ingrid's a good unit. The problem is because of the nature of Blue Lions, Ingrid is just not that good compared to the rest of the Blue Lions. So, yeah. So, I'm assuming I'm not going to rank Mercedes with the funny bow subclass, which the game allows you to do because of the unique weapon that appears in one map that under a weird chain of events can appear. It sounds so ridiculous. It sounds like a shitpost. I am being totally honest. There is a unique bow to her crest that is clearly meant for Mercedes that appears in a time skip map under weird circumstances, which is really weird. I don't know why that's a thing. That's not really going to play into my evaluation because as a casual, even though you see Mercedes with a bow, I'm really going to ask this question. I'm gonna ask this really deeply and quietly. Who honestly used Mercedes as a bow user? Put your hand up. Leave the room. You're dishonored. Get out of here. But so Mercedes is definitely a healer. Let's get that out of the way. It's like Lindhart. I'd say you're a little worse because you don't have as much damage viability and your spell pool's a little bit worse. But you're a healer in a game where healing matters. I'll put you here, B. I mean, let's just get Byleth out of the way, man. Just not. Let's not even pretend. Let who. It's a character who easily is the goat of their game. Just easily. Like if I was sub ranking here, you're easily above Pandreo, but it's just easier to see the splits between the games. Actually, for Goats tier, because this is going to be a long stream, which is really annoying, we're going to actually sort between the games. It's Anna, but better because you have supports, and while having you clearly have the DLC, which means I have to factor that in, and you just play a good role because Trickster's really good, and you don't. There's not a ton of other units in the game you'd give Trickster. You're good. Your stat spread's good. Your supports are good. You're a good unit. You're like Petra, but you're just better because you can do magic and you have a unique weapon. Also, you're better than Hilda. Fun. Okay. So the first Lord, I mean, are we really gonna have to talk about this? The three best non-Byleth units in this game are the three Lords. Let's get over that. Let's just grab all three of them and put them up here. Now it's gonna be a lot harder to rank them though because they don't compare against each other. They, under no circumstances is there overlap because the maps they do completely outside of the first act are completely different. So I have to entirely base these three off of the first act. And doing that in first act viability as a casual, I mean, it's kind of a tie. I mean, I'm gonna. Because, like, do I penalize Edelgard for Silver Snow? I'd say no. Because, like, I kind of did that to Hubert, but I don't know, man. Because if I penalize Edelgard for Silver Snow, it's easily the third. But I'd say, realistically, ranking-wise, I'd do this. I'd say Dimitri's probably the best, then Edelgard, then Claude. Because we're not going to meta include Wyverns are super good. We're just going to be quiet about that. And that's probably what we're going to do with those three. Oh my god. I just scroll in here and considering all the games. So, this is probably going to be a two-parter. A two-parter stream. So I'll probably continue this tomorrow, but I want to do these two games, and then we'll do this mess tomorrow. Might even be a three-parter, depending on how long it takes to do these early games. Even though I might just do Sacred Stones at any time. Well, because I also need to do Path of Radiance, which is going to be weird. Oh, okay. It's a worse healer than it's a healer who exists on every route, but is just kind of worse than Lindhart and worse than Mercedes. Now, are you worse than than the healing option in Golden Deer? Yes. Yes, you are. And I'm not even going to pretend like you aren't. You confound me. Okay, now let's go to the healing option to the Golden Deer. And now you have someone who'd actually, I'd argue, is better than Linhardt because you can kill things. And you have a unique weapon that makes you easily the best candidate for Dancer in this game unless you're memeing around. Now, that's really all we have to say about Mercedes. You have a lot of reclassing options too if you want to get into the nitty gritty. This is just nice. Catherine. Okay. Now, do I criticize all of the problems with Catherine and say that, well, you're a sword one trick pony, and if you're in one of the 3 routes where you are recruitable, two of them you're not that good. Like, it's Golden Deer where you excel, and then that's really it. Because you're just a good unit otherwise. I'd say you're definitely better than Funny Death Knight Man, and you don't suffer a weird recruitment problem, but you're not really great either. I mean, I'll put you here. I feel like that's about right. B tier. Funny Pun Man. You are just the replacement unit. That's, I don't know which of these. We'll put you there. You're a physical replacement unit, and you're not fighting against an other replacement unit. So cool. I mean, your recruit time's a little later than I'd like it, and that kind of makes me want to put you in E. But nah, you'll be fine. Caspar. Oh boy. Okay, so Caspar's weird because he doesn't really play into the mix well with the rest of the Black Eagles strategy wise. But casually, you're either going to make him so axe fighter or physical fighter. So fists. And so probably War Master or Armor Knight for some reason. Like, he's in the weird thing where his secondary reclass, it's a very weird option. Like, you're good. Your personal skill ain't that great. You're better than Dorothea. And you're better than Death Knight. I don't think you're better than Dedu, though. Yeah, you're just gonna go there. We're not. I just thought of this because some of these characters also appear in the DLC, but not all of them. So we're just not going to consider that in the ranking of the specific DLC maps. Because if that was the case, Dedu would be higher. Because he's, like, bro, DLC viability, he doesn't have a fall-off problem because he's there for the entire DLC. Let's get the nuke out of the way. One of the consensus A-tier picks, mage-wise. Now, as a casual, the question here is above or below Marianne. Because I can make an argument as a support tool, Marianne's better. But you generally just want to kill things in this game, so yeah. Fun. Sedith, yes. You're not a replacement unit. You're actually good. You're better than serviceable. Like, holy. Are you? Yeah, you're probably here. You're one of them assistant characters who's pretty good. I wouldn't put you in the best. I mean, maybe actually. It's not thinking about it. You're probably an A tier. Yeah, no, you are because you're a unit that's really good physical wise. It's a flyer innately. That it's not like, oh, he's good because you reclassed him into this. No, he just is that. And you don't need to reclass him. You don't need to do anything. It's the opposite of fixable tier. It's already the best they can be. So, is there anyone here that's in fix? You. Mm. I have some thoughts here. You're kind of like a worse version of Raph, where you have a Mage growth, which, huh? Okay, so he kind of has this problem where I can't really see a proper way to rank Balthus because there's a lot of classing options of his that are kind of bad, and there's a lot of ones that are also really good. So I'm putting them in fixable out of the principle of it is entirely dependent on how you build him. This, which normally in this game applies to a lot of units, but he gets pushed in a lot of different directions, which is very strange. Sylvain. He's your standard Calv boy. He is not as good as Ferdinand. We haven't gotten to him yet. But he's not as good as Ferdinand. His semi-classed partial dark magic is a little strange. Because his spell list isn't good. But he's a Calv unit in the game where cavalry is good because movement is good. Because you have high movement numbers in Grey Houses. So, judging wise, you're definitely in B tier. Do I put you above Ignatz? No. Do I put you above Catherine? Yes. I think this is appropriate. Talking about Ferdinand, let's do him. So, great personal skill. It's a little weird though because on every level up opportunity, there's a chance his hit and dodge rate just goes down temporarily. Fun. Is he good? Yes. Is his weird subcategory of armor innateness really weird? Yes. Is it hard to recruit him if you're not in Black Eagles? Incredibly hard. But we are not considering recruitment cost in this ranking. So, you are probably going to be... You're high A. I'd put you here. Because you do have some damage problems, all depending. But really good supports. Because the Black Eagles are all, I would say, better. Because they don't really fight each other role-wise other than this one over here. Dorothea. Bertinetta. The second best archer of the game. I can tell you that much. Because it's just Shamir in your way. Is your skill good? Your personal skill good? Yes. Is your bow skill list really good? Yes. Are you a solid candidate for the inexhaustible? Yes. But are we going to include that? Because Leone is literally, if you have Leone and you, because Leone is a requirement to get the inexhaustible. So, I probably just said it, the inexhaustible, even though it's probably not actually the name of the bow, and I'm tweaking. But Bertinetta, you're easily better than Dorothea. No, not this man. Okay, you're easily better than Dorothea. You're better than Ignatz. I can't justify that though. Wait, are you better than Ignatz? You're not really bulky. Oh yeah, but no one else. Okay, no, Petra is fighting you for bow, but Ignatz has more of a bow using fight here. Ash. Ash? You mean walking lockpick? Yeah. Okay, that's a little harsh. I'm gonna put yeah. Your Ash isn't that great. Again, weirdly mixed stat spread for a character you generally only have as a bow knight, like ever. lockpick as his personal skills kind of memey. Uh, but yeah, well, oh, Annette. Okay, so it's Rallybot the unit. This is literally Rallyman from Fates, but it's a woman. This is weird because Annette is definitely a mage user, and if you play almost exclusively Blue Lions, you definitely remember them as a better mage than they actually are, because your mage options initially in Blue Lions are this or Mercedes, and Mercedes is not a good damage dealer. Now, are you doing Crusher Annette? Because that's another question that you could run with Annette. Is it a good option as a casual? Probably. If you're playing on hard or maddening difficulty, no. And that, when taken on hard difficulty, is just maddening. It's just Rally Man. It really just is. And you probably are Rally Manning on Felix or Dimitri, but I mean, it's better than Dorothea. That's the running theme here. This is kind of the cutoff here. Are you better than yeah. Are you better than Dorothea? That's the question asked about most of these B tier units. Leone will be the last one ranked for 3 houses. This. What to do? Because you're a cavalier who can't make up their mind if you want to be a bow knight or regular knight. Just a little strange. However, you're kind of good because you do physical damage that is not bow in a house that wants it. Because Raph doesn't have a ton of killing ability initially, and I mean, I'm also having to compare you with Lorenz, who has the bipolar disorder of not knowing if he wants to be a mage or a physical attacker. But you have the inexhaustible thing I talked about earlier, which is usable for you, but is probably better in the hands of Bertonetta. You are better than Dorothea. I can tell you that much. Here, yeah, this feels about right. A little better than Caspar, not quite as good as Dedue. Yeah, I'm one last review over the 3 houses tiers. I mean, this feels about right. Yeah, I'm happy with this. Now, the quick round of echoes, which will be what we do before we end. First of all, who are you? I know who you people are. You're from the weird DLC that no one has. Because wasn't it like a cipher thing or some weird crossover? I don't know. There's another one. Here you are. Get over here. Anyone else? I think that's all of them. Yep. So, let's get it out of the way. I know the huge point of conflict in this game is the question of, are you what is it? Oh my god. Are you a dread fighter? That's like a huge question. And Ulm cannot be a dread fighter. However, his stat spread, the weapon you're going to give him midway through the game, the XP level up opportunities, the Ulm trials, Ulm's just good. There's no other way to put it. He doesn't have any problems. Everyone in this game has problems. Everyone. Except Saber. Where is he? I might as well also rank him. Where's Saber? Get over here. You're the only person that I would also possibly consider being an S tier. Because it's a dread fighter innately who's just good because you get them early. Now, Celica, on the other hand, is also A tier. It's just not in the S conversation because good mage can use swords kind of, but in the late game you're almost entirely using magic. I mean, you're good against half of the enemies you see because half of the time you're fighting undead. Thumbs up. I mean, that's really all you can say about Celica. Now we're also gonna leave the weird reclassing people till the end because there's some questions. You know what? Let's go to my personal goat. Yeah. I mean, so if we're considering the effort that is required to get him, he's in B tier. If we are not, he's in A tier. Because the new Ibaba problem is real. It is just real. If you have the resources to get him, he's probably not your he's not gonna be your best unit. This is also a game with no deployment issue. So it's like he's probably in your end game team, but he might not be. But he's used everywhere else. I would leave him an A. Because this game has the unique thing where you don't have any deployment limitation until the very last map. I love it when my Jagan is only available in, the last act of the game. I mean, it's alright. You're not as good as Zeke, but, I mean, hey, there's the support issue, but you have some passive supports, which are pretty good. And you're just endgame viable, so out of the box, so if you messed up. Okay, so if we're gonna talk about, what is it? Lysithea prior to Lysithea, this is it. This is simply it. This is like the first true nuke mage in the Fire Emblem series, where it's the glass cannon archetype of mages who deals a lot of damage. A lot of people complain about their recruitment method. It isn't that hard. Skill issue. You literally get a sword that has this personal skill, Pacify, just prior to this. Like, come on. Did you forget that casting magic costs HP in this game? But, okay. I would put him in fixable. I would put Clive in fixable. But that would imply there is a way to fix him without having the DLC. There is not. He's just a bad cow. He just is. Luthier. I mean, he's better than Bowie. He's not as good as his sister. He's great. Not much else to say. And now, where's Bowie? Where is he? Gotta hunt him down. You are serviceable because you are an early game mage who's just worse in every matter than May. It's other than defense, which, I mean, maybe you can make an argument on hard difficulty, but even my experience on hard difficulty, the defense diff here isn't too crazy because you just want the damage from May. And innately having Thunder, which is good. And now, since we talked about May, it'd be probably the worst mage in A tier. But it's not actually an insult in this case, because we're still pretty good. It is the quick fire round. We want to keep this maybe a little bit around 2 hours. Don't want to make this be digestible so my friends watch it. Forsyth. Oh, oops. Forsyth. I really hate to admit it, man. He's one of my favorite units. He's memed here. I mean, is he worse than Clive? Yeah. I hate to say it. His stats aren't impressive. He's a fun guy. That much I can approve of, but there's not much else to say about him. Is he the worst unit? Yeah, I really hate to say it. It's the purple hair guy who's likely homosexual. Each game needs one. Leon. I say likely. Not. Isn't he just? Yeah, he's just like homosexual. That's it. Okay. It's not even like the Zangief joke, but he actually just is. Um, he's better than Python, so I'd put him in great. And because I brought up Python, I mean he's serviceable. I mean the hit rate problem is a lot more of an actual problem in Alm's route than Leon has a problem in Celica's. It's not really a thing. And there's more flying units in Celica's, so Leon's just going to be better. Jenny. Yes. Early invoke. Incredibly baller thing to have. I'd actually, put you over Celica just because Invoke is stupidly good. Jesse. Now, this is the first character that we're really gonna have to think about. Are they good because of Dreadfighter, or are they just good? And I'd say they're good because of Dreadfighter, which means they're I put them in the fixable category. You just need for them to get promoted, and then Jesse's actually good. I say the whole thing about this being a casual tier list means that Atlas gets a pass. Where is Atlas? If this was not, I'd make the argument that Atlas is the worst game unit in this game because Foresight doesn't have a problem when you get him, and Atlas does. He just does. He's not that good when you get him. You need to basically promote him instantly. And then you get into the question of it's the Dreadfighter question, and I think he's in the fixable category. He really is. It's hard to say. This is the whole the Dreadfighter lost cause fallacy. Just the fallacy of they're a good unit because they're Dreadfighter, as Dreadfighter. So, talking about that fallacy, is Kamui bad? No. Even without Dreadfighter, he's a good unit. He just did. I'm actually gonna just. Yeah. He's a good unit with or without Dreadfighter. You know what? Let's just get the Dreadfighter debate out of the way. You're also a good unit without having to actually have the Dreadfighter promotion. You're better than Kamui. You're better than Luthier. You're the top of B tier. I wouldn't put you in A, though. Yeah, let's bite the bullet. Let's put all you guys. Not you. You don't have that problem. You can't promote to that. Yeah. So you three. If we're talking about the game's meta in Dreadfighter, they are very high tiered. It would be great. So if you take these three in general, it's this order. It's Gray, then Tobin, and then Cliff. Just ranking wise, stat wise, I put it in this order. Gray's easily the best of the three of them, and he's. Yeah. So the question is, as well, are we gonna rank them off of their implied classes? Because the game does imply what each of their classes are, and also the video game Fire Emblem Heroes implies it too. But Hero says both Gray and Tobin are sword users, which means that they're eventually become Dreadfighters. It says that Cliff over here is a mage, but the game itself, based on interacting with different objects, Gray's a Dreadfighter, Tobin is an archer, and Cliff is a mage. So the question is, as a casual, are you gonna if you happened to come across that early and actually interact with everything, are you gonna put them in the right thing? Like this is the hard one here. Like I don't think that Gray should be infixable because I think you're gonna make him one anyway. Like his stats are good, his growths are good, he's just good. Like even if you make him a cav for some reason that's incredibly deranged, he's still a great unit. Like I'd actually even put him over this bozo, but over Dean. But it's Tobin's weird because if you don't make him an archer or put him in the Dreadfighter pipeline, he's not that good. I mean, he can get away with being a Calv, and he'd actually. It's funny, he's still better than Clive, but yeah, but Cliff is gonna be in fixable tier because Cliff Mage isn't that good, but you're most likely to make him a mage. It's weird. It's complicated. It really is. Tobin's gonna be the highest of C tier because it's another depends, but like, do I put him in fix? It's just kind of an addendum. I'd say fixable is the you get put in C tier if you are fixable, but you're generally just worse. Yeah, I feel like that's the conclusion to that. Armor. Well, you're not as good as Lucas, but you're incredibly bulky in an area where there are very few bulky people, which makes you weirdly better than Lucas. I don't get it. I really don't. But is he actually better than Lucas? Yes, because bulk is more important in Selka Rap because there are very few characters who actually have defense, like actual good defense. Because even the Dreadfighter cost fallacy, all you got here is Saber, and you're just if like Kamui is decently bulky, but Valbar you really need Valbar and Celica. Pegasus Trio, let's rank all of them at the same time. So, Est is a better growth unit than Atlas. It just is. These three are very similar, though, and I would say it's very hard to rank them independently. Like, they're gonna be all next to each other on this tier list. The question is, how good are they really? So, bows, unless they have an equipped bow in this game, something I found out last stream, I forgot about it. Unless you have a bow in your inventory, you don't actually deal bonus damage to flyers, which is important. You know what? I'd say they're the split the difference between Dean and Luthier, and I'm gonna rank them in reverse order of age because I feel like that's honestly it's how it feels when I use them personally, and if it's the opposite for you, sure, thumbs up, fun. I know you get Est last, but you have to complete the desert maps to keep all three of them anyway. So, yeah. Silk, you're a healer in a route that really needs one. Because you don't need to make a choice. Dean has also is kind of lowered because you have to choose between Sonya and Dean, and ranking Sonya. Yeah, if you're gonna Dreadfighter's really good, but Sonya's still a good unit. Like it's kind of around here. Like Sonya isn't bad. A lot of people give you flack for picking to fight Dean instead of Sonya, but it's not too crazy. You still get the Brave Sword if you kill Dean, so you're a healer in a route that wants healers, and you do have Invoke eventually, which means, and it's somewhat timely. You guys, you have Flyer Invoke. Yeah. Yeah, your invoke is flyers. I remember that. Which, I mean, you kind of fall into the Zeke problem of your team is already really good. Are you better than Silk? Yes, because you're more bulky, and this game doesn't have an availability issue. So yeah, you're just better than Silk. Because also you get invoke earlier as well. So Noma. Okay, I hate to admit this. My first playthrough, I just didn't recruit him because I didn't realize he existed. this man, I just missed him entirely. But doing a playthrough with him on the team, he's worse than Sonya. Like he kind of has the Bowie problem. I mean, I put you behind him. He is actually, yeah, he is the Bowie problem where his spell list isn't that good and his stats aren't too impressive. Matilda, oh my god, it's a good Calv in this game. It's the only, well, there's two of them. Now, are you better than Zeke? You deal less damage, but you can take more magic damage, which I would argue is more important. And you're probably better than May as well. Yeah. Now, if this was about character opinion and whether or not a character ruined a story, you'd go right here. However, that is not what is going on here. But you're a Calv unit who's just better than Clive, but physical day, you got the Dread Fighter competition over here you're dealing with in Celica's route. So you're kind of nerfed. You're not really fixable. Yeah, you're like You're slightly better than Python. You're in that category where you're just there. Like cool. Okay, so Faye. This is another like class dependent character. But I think they are the best of fixable because it is entirely dependent on what you make Faye. Because Faye in one of the two magical roles is the best option. You're in B, A tier range. If it's Faye and you do Pegasus, what clownery are we doing here? That's going to put you in D tier or E, all depending. And then now let's get to the other flyer. Well, the actual flyer, because only a potential flyer for Faye. Claire. Now, not being able to triangle attack isn't super crazy, but yeah. This is probably going to be the hardest rank here that is not the whole Dread Fighter debate. So where would I put you realistically? And where would the average gamer put you? I mean, let's just do individual right case. You're better than Python. You're better than Noma. You're better than Bowie. Do I think you're here? No, I think you're kind of here. You're with Tobin. You're honestly, if I could tie this, you're tied with Tobin. But I'd give him the better of the doubt because if you make him a Dread Fighter, he's B tier. So, okay. That's going to be it for part 1 of the rankings. I will probably return tomorrow and continue this list. And tomorrow's stream will contain, it will be Fates and Awakening at least. And then we might do a part 3 to do Radiant Dawn. I mean, not Radiant Dawn. Path of Radiance and Sacred. But that would probably be shorter. I might just do Fates and then I do Sacred Stones or something and like split them up just because of time-wise. I know these two games, it's gonna take a while to actually sort them through. So, yeah. See if I can get a shot of the full tier list. I can't really. So let's start at the top right before we end stream. Come on. The stream delay is crazy. Is this... Okay, there. Starting there, we're going to scroll through, and that is today's tier list. Because, yeah, we're going to here. So, yeah. That will end today's VOD, which is mainly just meant to be a video.